for this, and I've kind of tossed it because I want to do this in a more conversational style. If you don't like it, let me know, and we'll script it up a bit more heavily for the next one. But tonight, we're going to be talking about multiclassing, and the goal is to start with Artificer, and if we finish, we'll move on to the next class, but we'll see where we go. So for this, we are going to be making characters up to level 12. They'll have point buy, and we're going to keep magic items to a minimum, unless it's for a funny thing, which I will show you what I mean about funny thing. Probably not today, but soon. But we're starting with Sam the Sample. He wants to play an Artificer, but he feels like it just needs a little je ne sais quoi. Just a little something. A little sprinkle on top. You know, just that piece de resistance to make it the perfect build. And we're going to figure out how we're going to do that. So first, race. We'll custom lineage because I like having access to feats. I'm sorry. I just find that fun. And for this first one, we are going to start with Sharpshooter. And we are going to take a Dark Vision. For our ability scores, we are going to do point buy. So we are going to do 14 intelligence, increase intelligence by 2. We're going to do 12 dex, 14 con. We're going to make our wisdom a 12 just for slightly better saves. We are going to make our charisma 10. And we're going to make our strength an 11. It can go either way there. It's just 1 point. It's not going to change a lot. Class. We're starting Artificer. We're going to start with 5 levels at bare minimum. Again, we are going to level 12. For proficiencies, Arcana for scroll scribing. Then we're going to go History. And for a supply, we are going to go we'll go Cook's Utensils. Then we are going to quickly bounce over to Description. We are going to pick a background. We are just going to go with nope. So it's going to take me a second to remember the one that has Perception. We're going to go Sage so we can pick stuff real quick, make it easier. Perception and medicine. Not the important part, but we do need to pick something for that. So classes. Again, 5 levels. And we will come back to this infusion. We're going to go Specialist, and we're going to go Armor. For our armor model, we are going to be choosing the Infiltrator, which gives us lightning launchers. A gem-like node appears on one of your armored fist or your chest. It counts as a simple ranged weapon with a normal range of 90 feet, a long range of 300. Deals 1d6 lightning damage on a hit. Once on each of your turns when you hit a creature with it, you can deal an extra 1d6 lightning damage to that target. Your movement speed increases by 5, and you have advantage on dexterity saving throws. Also, you can use your intelligence modifier to hit. That is important. Here, for our next ASI, we are going to take an ASI, and we are going to raise our intelligence. So, for those keeping track at home, our intelligence is now an 18. Can I check something real quick? Yeah, we're going to make our dex a 13. I made a mistake earlier. So now we get to our first multi-class. And what we're going to do is first, we're going to correct myself because I am silly. We're going to turn on Critical Role content. And we are going to add another class. We are going to add Blood Hunter. The reason we are adding Blood Hunter is you cannot let go of your armor or weapon, so you will always have access to it. Even if you're going through town, you're being social, you're in environments where it would normally be inappropriate to have a weapon in your hand, which is the condition for keeping your Crimson Right, you're never letting go of your armor. It is on you. So you'll always have this buff active. This gets around one of the big sticking points of playing in Blood Hunter. If a Blood Hunter gets disarmed, they lose their whole gimmick. And we're going to take it to level 5. I know we double dip on extra attack, and that's frustrating, but there's not a great way around that. You're going to take Religion, Hunter's Bane mod Intelligence, Blood Curse. We are going to take Blood Curse of the Marked. So we hit a cursed creature, we can roll additional Hemocraft die. Fighting Style Archery, because this applies to the lightning launcher from Artificer. Crimson Right, we are going to take Storm for lightning damage. If you wanted to mix it up, you could go Frozen or Flame, but lightning is the least resistant of those three. For our order, I'm going to say we go Mutant, and then for Mutagen Craft, we are grabbing Hemocraft mod Intelligence. Formula, we are grabbing Sagacity. And we are grabbing Celerity. Then we will grab Vermilion. We will grab Deafness. The main thing we're here for is Sagacity to raise our intelligence. Next ASI, we are again taking an ability score improvement. We are raising our intelligence by 2. We have now capped our intelligence, but we are now going over the cap by 3 because of Sagacity. So we've spent 10 levels. I would like to come back to Artificer for the last 2 to make sure we have more Artificer levels than anything. So it is a Artificer build, not a Artificer build that looks like a Blood Hunter. Which that will give us Flash of Genius, which is really good because our intelligence modifier is going to be so high. Howdy Cryptic. Now, we're coming back to our Artificer infusions. We are going to grab the Enhanced Arcane Focus for a +1 to spell attack, which we aren't going to use often, but it is good to have. We are going to grab Enhanced Defense, Mind Sharpener to give us advantage so we don't need to worry about Warcaster. We're going to grab Homuncular Servant, Spell Refueling Ring, and then we are going to grab Replicate Magic Item. And yes, there's lots of funny things you could take here. But what I would suggest the first level Spell Rot Tattoo, because you can use it to give your allies magic items or spells. And we'll get through that in a second. So here's the build. All that's left is spell selection, and then we'll go through some strategies with it. So our known spells, we get 2 cantrips. We are going to use these often because we are primarily a attack-focused build. So we're going to grab Guidance to benefit us out of combat. And we are going to grab Mending for some out-of-combat utility as well. For our spell selection, we're going to take Absorb Elements. We are going to take Grease because it is a hilariously good first level spell. We're going to take Fairy Fire. We are going to take identify on the assumption a party member does not have it. And then for second levels, we are going to take aid. We are going to take blur. We are going to take enlarge, reduce. And we are going to take magic weapon. Now, you will have to talk to your DM to make sure they would let you put magic weapon on your armor weapon. Otherwise, I would put it on an ally's weapon to buff them. So first thing is we need to go in here and we need to... Signs, howdy. We can assume our score has been, we're taking sagacity, so we're going to raise our intelligence to 23. So we now have a plus. Thank you for the resub. Wait. Okay. It said you subscribed for 40 months. I'm like, is that 40-month streak, or is that you just 40 months subbed at once? At first I thought it was the second one, and I was very concerned for your wallet. Okay. Okay. Everything is good then. I was just terrified you spent way more than you meant to, and I was worried about you. Okay. So, we are now dealing twice per turn, 1d6 plus 6, plus an additional 1d6 from the Infiltrator model. But we're not just dealing that. We are also dealing 1d6 plus 6 twice per turn for 2d6 plus 12. We are, to be more accurate, we come in here, we modify, we put a -5 on the to hit bonus and a +10 to the damage. So it's now 1d6 plus 16, 2d6 plus 32. But we're not done yet, because we also have, we scroll down, we have our Mutagen Craft giving us 1d6 extra damage. So now we are dealing 4d6 plus, or 5d6 plus 32 damage. And now, real quick, we are going to enhance Arcane Focus. We're just going to quickly grab a wand, create infusion. We are going to quickly grab our armor. It's going to be plate, because we don't suffer the disadvantages. Create infusion. We are going to quickly... We can assign this to a helmet because of a armor feature. So... So what we're going to do is we're going to assign it to our plate, to another piece of plate. Create infusion. And then Homunculus Servant. We're at infusion limits, so if I was to drop any of these, I would drop the Enhanced Focus. And I would do Replicate Magic Item. And here's why. With a Spell Rot Tattoo of first level, you can use it once per day. What you do is you put Find Familiar on this item. You give yourself the spell, you cast Find Familiar. The item is now destroyed. At the next dawn, you re-infuse it, making a new copy. Then you give it to the party fighter. Now they have a familiar. The item is destroyed. The next day, you give it to the party wizard. Now they have a familiar. The item is destroyed. So every day you give a party member a familiar. And because familiars can use items, here's where it gets really silly. And again, talk to your DM. You can give the spell rot tattoo to your familiar. And now your familiar has a familiar. I think you see where this goes. Yes, it's like stacking centaurs. Just familiars all the way down. For those who don't get the joke, centaurs are medium creatures. A medium creature can ride another medium creature, so just picture a giant wobbling tower of centaurs rushing towards you. They're stackable. But now our friend Sam the Sample, he has seen this build. He's intrigued by it, but this isn't the build he's going to go with. No. He's going to start over. All the way beginning. He doesn't feel like armor is the right subclass for him anymore. It was an interesting build. He appreciates the time and efforts to make it work. But that's just not what he's here for. He does still want to go Artificer. He does still want to go at least 5 levels. This time he's pretty sure he really wants to be an Artificer. He's going to go 10 levels in Artificer. But he wants those last 2 levels to be in Warlock. So he comes to you and asks how you would do this. Here's how I would answer. We go back to our race. We go to our feet. We are going to swap Sharpshooter out. We are going to take Telekinetic, raising our Charisma by 1. And yes, I hear you say, but you're raising your Charisma and you're playing an Intelligence class. Yes, I am. In fact, we're putting our Intelligence at 8. Putting our Strength at 8. We're putting our Charisma at 15. We're putting our racial bonus into our Charisma. We're going to set this to 12. We're going to raise our Dex to 14. And this is the stat spread we're going with. So we've got a much better dexterity, we've got a pretty good constitution, and we've got a fantastic charisma. But I hear you say, but none of that helps me play Artificer. And you're correct. My friend, you are very much correct. So we are going to go down to Artificer Infusions. We're using a level 10 option. We are going to where is it? Replicate magic item. And we are going to grab a Headband of Intellect. And now we come back up here. We are going to quickly remove the override stat so you can see our intelligence is a measly 8. But that is temporary because we are going to come down here. We are going to create the infusion. We are then going to equip it. And we are then going to attune to it. We now have a +4 on our intelligence for 0 stat expenditure and 1 infusion. So now we start doing our levels. So for our specialist, we are going to go artillerist. We are going for much more of a castery build. And this gives us access to the wonderful spell shield. For our next ASI, you guessed it, we're raising our charisma again. For our next ASI, Not this time. We're actually going to take a feat. We are going to take you take sharpshooter for the distance, but I really think our money's best spent on warcaster here. So we now have warcasters. We have advantage on our initiative, or initiative. I apologize. Our concentration checks. And now we're going to add another class. We're going to go warlock. We've made a dirt deal with something downstairs. And in particular, we find ourselves having made friends with a magical weapon. And yes, I know this gives us access to shield twice. If you'd rather, you could take undead or you could take genie. I really like Hexblade's Curse here. That's a big part of why we go this route. And we're going Agonizing Blast, and we are going Repelling Blast. So now back to our features. We are going to pick up the rest of our infusions. We are going to grab a Replicate Magic item. And we are going to grab Gauntlets of Ogre Power. So now, our strength score is fixed. We now have a fantastic strength and a fantastic intelligence, while neither were good to begin with. We're going to take Mind Sharp, or no, we can take Mind Sharp anyway. We're going to grab a Replicate Magic item. And we are going to grab not Pipes of the Sewers, Pipes of Haunting. We are going to grab a Homunculus Servant. And then we are not going to be able to infuse all of these, so we're going to grab Mind Sharpener, Enhanced Defense. We are going to replicate a magic item for a Bag of Holding. Something just really simple. And we're going to grab Boots of the Winding Path. So, then we're going to grab our spells. We get 3 cantrips. Again, we're going to grab Guidance. We are going to grab Mage Hand to increase its range by 30 feet because of telekinetic. And we're going to grab Mending. For first level spells, we're going to Absorb Elements. We are going to grab Fairy Fire for easy advantage. We are going to grab Identify, again, assuming a party member cannot prepare it. We're going to grab Aid, Blur. We're going to grab Rope Trick because it is one of the most powerful spells in 5th edition. You can make a room that you can control, and you can sit within this room, which is an extra dimensional space, open the door, attack out of it, close the door. You get the entire party in there, and you can just blast things away from a near unassailable position. It is incredibly dumb. Do not be surprised if your DM starts some major shenanigans if you begin doing that. We're going to have Vortex Warp for repositioning. We're going to have Web for some battlefield control. And for our 3rd level, we are going to grab We're going to grab Tiny Servant because you can do some really funny things with it. And then for our Warlock spells, we are going to grab Eldritch Blast. We are going to grab Magic Stone for our Tiny Servant. And then for our first levels, we're going to grab Armor of Agathis. I'm going to say we grab Hex, but we're not going to use it much. This is more for scribing it as a scroll to use later. Because Warlocks are so limited in spells, it's better to scribe it and not waste a slot on it. And then we are going to grab Unseen Servant for kind of the same practice. Both of these are going to be scribed more than cast, and then they'll be used later. And now we look at the sheet, and we go down to our inventory, we go down to our infusions. We are going to... We're going to infuse the Gauntlets of Ogre Power. We're going to infuse the Pipes of Haunting. So, okay, I forgot my limit. So we're going to uninfuse the Gauntlets of Ogre Power. And we're going to infuse the Homunculus Servant. And we're just going to make him out of the Aquamarine Crystal, create infusion. So, what you do is you give the Pipes of Haunting to your Homunculus. And they are going to use it to create the fear effect for you. We are no longer proficient in heavy armor, so we are going to get rid of it. Remove infusion. We're going to keep the wand. We are going to quickly grab ourselves a breastplate. And a shield. And this is how we've built a fairly decent little caster. To go over some features, because I kind of breezed through it. So, particular to Artillerist, we have our Eldritch Cannon. Our primary choice here is the Protector. It lets you be a miniature Twilight Cleric. Because it lasts until the damage is taken. Start of the day, you make this thing, you gather your allies around, you cast it until you roll an 8. So you're going to give everyone 12 temp HP. Including your tiny servant, including your homunculus, everyone's getting 12 temp HP. You've turned a wand into your spellcasting focus for a bonus D8 of damage. This does not apply to Eldritch Blast, but it does apply to other spells. Like, we have access to Scorching Rays. So it's 2d6 plus a d8 on the first one, then 2d6 on the second, 2d6 on the third. But because we went Hexblade, it's 2d6 plus 4 plus a d8, plus 2d6 plus 4 plus 2d6 plus 4, critting on a 19 or 20, which is very handy. But to make our limited slots go further, we are going to be using Eldritch Blast a bunch. It is our primary damage source. 1d10 plus 5 with a 10-foot pushback is very significant, and we are going to be using that. Especially because with Hexblade's Curse, it's 1d10 plus 9. And this is much more of a mid-range blastery Artificer. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. But Sam looks at this and he goes, I like what you're doing. This is a compelling idea, but I'd rather just focus on my intelligence. So, thank you for the posture check, by the way. So we're going to go back and we're going to make a few little adjustments and see if we can't make Sam happy this time. We're going to keep about the same build. We are going to drop the Warlock levels. As a result, we are going to go to our ability scores and we're going to put that at 8. Put the +2 on our intelligence, and we're going to send our intelligence to 15. And we're going to go back to our race, and we're going to use this on our intelligence. Okay. So now we've got an intelligence score of 19. Well, that's still because of the infusion. So we're going to go in, Artificer infusions. We are going to get rid of the Headband of Intellect. We are going to swap it for, I think this is the item I want. Quickly check. Inventory, infusions. Okay, yeah, not a bad one. But what we're going to do with this build, to make it a little bit different still, we're going to stay with the Artillerist, because I think that is the better one for more caster-focused builds. And we're still going to stay at 10, so we're only going to dip into another class. We're going to go Wizard. We're going to go 2 levels into Wizard. And for your subclass, you have 2 choices, in my opinion. You can either go Divination for access to Portent and the hilarity that entails, or you go War Magic for Tactical Wit to raise your initiative and Arcane Deflection to give you a bonus to your survivability. Now, we'll debate you're going to prefer this route. So now we're going to go look at our spells. And we're going to add some spells. We're going to add our cantrips. We are going to go Acid Splash, Firebolt. We're going to go Mind Sliver. Should remove Acid Splash because we want Ray of Frost as well. And then first of all, we're picking up Absorb Elements. We are picking up Find Familiar. We are picking up Silvery Barbs, Tenzer's Floating Disc, Tasha's Hideous Laughter, Unseen Servant, Identify, Fog Cloud, Detect Magic, Comprehend Languages. Oh yeah, I forgot I have to put these into my spellbook. 10 known, so spellbook. Forgive me, stupid moment, or silly moment. Prepare. And we're not going to prepare any of the rituals, so we're going to skip past those. So we go back to prepared spells, or sorry, add spells at first level. And we are going to grab Catapult, Cause Fear, Chromatic, Color Spray. And let's grab Sleep instead. Thunderwave. Yeah, Thunderwave. So back to our spellbook, first level. I know you would not have this many choices at the beginning of a game. I am just grabbing some to fill in a list. So that's what our spells are going to look like from the wizard levels. And now we come back over here. I forgot to swap out my ability score. We're going to use this one to raise our intelligence. So now we have maxed our intelligence. So our Flash of Genius is a +5. We have all of our spell attacks, all scaling with intelligence. For our infusions, we have we can attach this to our breastplate for 20 AC. So now We have a +7 to our initiative. We have 20 AC. We have a veritable list of defensive options. And now, we think we've seen enough. We think Sam has some options here. But I hear you ask, what if I don't want to play Artillerist or Armor? What if I want to play Alchemist? Or Battlesmith? Well, I hear you. And there are lots of good options for both of those. If I cover every option, we will be here forever. But to quickly go over some, if you're going Battlesmith, you could consider looking at the Blade-Singing Wizard class for just 2 levels, enough to get access to Blade Song. And abandon your armor. But what's better there is to actually only go 3 Battlesmith and then pursue your Blade Song. Because now your intelligence-focused attacks and you'll have better wizard casting progression. And if you want to go Alchemist, consider Cleric. It's also ability score, it's wisdom instead of intelligence, but a single level of Peace Cleric gives fantastic benefits to the party. And if you're looking to support, I can't think of a much better way. You need 2 levels. 2 levels for your Channel Divinity. You'll have so many options. Consider 2 Peace on your Artificer. Consider 2 Twilight. 300 feet of Dark Vision, Heavy Armor, and Martial Weapons. 1d6 plus 2 temp HP for everyone in 30 feet for a minute. All good options. If I show them all, this video will never end. So I'm just going to kind of rapid fire talk through something like this. For your Battlesmith, consider going Fighter with Psy Warrior. It gives you very on-brand intelligence to your attacks, and then you're getting to add your intelligence again through the Psychic Dice damage bonus once per round. And if you want to continue multiclassing, you don't just want to go with 2, you could stop before level 5, assume we're keeping a 1 attack per turn build, and then you could go pick up, so we've gone 3 Battlesmiths, 3 Fighter for Psy Warrior, now we're going to go dip into Rogue to get Sneak Attack. It's a little crazy, it's not the most efficient, but it's something you can consider. There's a lot of options you can really look at that aren't the most mathematically sound or the best, but they will feel good and they will be fun at the table. At the end of the day, no matter what I say, no matter what builds I show or math I present or ideas I suggest, D&D is a game to play with your friends and have fun. As long as you're having fun and you're not hurting anyone at your table, play what you love. Life's too short to get stuck on what's optimal or correct. Just enjoy the games you play and the people you play them with. I hope I've given you something to think about. Please ask all the questions in the comments below, and I will do a follow-up video answering those questions. Until next time, stay safe and have fun. I'll see you all again soon. Good night.